But just in case you need a little furthermore assistance on that part, before I get into this piece, okay, what I'm gonna need to do is I'm gonna need to make sure because I think I heard some talking in the back. And when I start class, I need everybody to pay attention. So all of you back there in the back, be quiet. We ain't gonna be passing notes, texting. Put your phones up and pay attention. This is old school class. You need to put out a piece of paper, you need to get your pen, and you need to write this down because I don't want to have class about this again. Well, hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. In this video, I decided I'd do a recap on one of the videos that I actually done beforehand. And I know a lot of you have already seen it, which is what documents do I need to know? There seems to be a lot of questions that are centered around just that one topic. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually take you through a few documentations. I'm going to make them big, I'm going to make them plain to see and put them up on the screen here so that you can see exactly where my information comes from so that you can understand some of the things that I said. So without further ado, you hear it. Yep, class is now in session. And here we go. Now, before we figure out what documents we need to know, since I said it ain't none of our business, first let's just figure out exactly what a notary is supposed to do. I'm gonna put it on the screen. You ready? Bam, here it is. Most notarial acts relate to another person signing or certifying a document. When a notary public performs an act in relation to a document, the document is commonly said to be notarized. In fact, a notary public only notarizes the signature of the person who signed the document. However, a notary public cannot notarize his or her own signature or a transaction in which the notary public has a direct financial or beneficial interest. Okay, so now I'm getting somewhere with this because I know y'all's like, what are we doing all with it? I'm getting somewhere with this. First of all, I just want to let you know what exactly it is that a notary does. A notary notarizes signatures, not documents. Not the document, the signature. Let's move on. Verifying the signer. Before performing a notarial act, the notary public must confirm the identity of the person signing the document. For acknowledgments and jurats, a notary public is required to obtain satisfactory evidence of the signer's identity. So you're not notarizing the paperwork, you are notarizing a signature. And in order to notarize a signature, you're first going to have to make sure that the person who says that that's their signature on the paper is the one who's standing in front of you. That means you're going to have to take satisfactory ID. If you do not recall what the satisfactory IDs is, that is not what this class is about. This class is about what documents we need to know and why I said it ain't none of your business. So let's move on. Next. First, we're going to need to identify if there are incomplete documents. Not what the documents are, but incomplete. The notary public cannot take an acknowledgement on a document that is incomplete. When presented with a document containing a signature to be notarized, the notary public should visually scan the document to determine if the document is complete. Blank spaces and blank lines should be examined to ensure information is not missing. Someone calls you, you go meet them, you get the paperwork, you scan through the papers really quick, make sure there's a line here or a little space there that look like it should be an initial, that they put an initial in that space. You want to make sure that everything is complete. If it's not, then what? You can't notarize the signature. You can't do anything with it because it's not complete. Also, if a notary public has experience with a particular type of document and knows what information should be stated in the document and that information is missing or incomplete, the notary must refuse to notarize the signature, not the papers, not the documents, the signature. If there are other places where something should have been on a line, it needs to be there. No blank spaces. But it doesn't matter to us what the paperwork say. But just in case you need a little further more assistance on that part, before I get into this piece, okay, what I'm gonna need to do is I'm gonna need to make sure, because I think I heard some talking in the back. And when I start class, I need everybody to pay attention. So all of you back there in the back, be quiet. We ain't gonna be passing notes, texting. Put your phones up and pay attention. This is old school class. You need to put out a piece of paper, you need to get your pen, and you need to write this down, because I don't want to have class about this again. You ready? Okay, let's keep going. Foreign language documents. A notary public can notarize a signature on a document written in a foreign language, whether or not they are familiar with the language. Since what? Since a notary public's function only relates to the signature and not what? The content of those said documents. Because it ain't none of our business. Because at the end of the day, you are not notarizing the actual documents. You're not going through the documents and looking to see, because you wouldn't know anyway. You wouldn't know if it's true to be true or not. That's why we notarize signatures. We notarize the signature of the person, because they are the one that's going to tell you if it's right. And you just going to go by their word, because that's what we're here for. We're here to go by their word. We give them an acknowledgement. They acknowledge it's true. Yep. We stamp it, and then we do what? We send them on their way. We do a jurat. We do a I swear or affirm. They swear, and then we do what? We stamp it, and we go on our way. It's really not a big deal. However, a notary public must be able to what? Communicate with the customer in order for the signer to swear or affirm the contents of the affidavit, or to acknowledge the execution of the document, as well as to enable the notary public to obtain proper identification of the signer and to complete the required journal entries. An interpreter should not be used because vital information could be lost in translation. If a notary public is unable to communicate with the customer should be referred to a notary public who speaks the customer's language. And I'm just breaking this down a little bit to make sure that we don't get any misunderstandings. The only thing you need to concern yourself with is being able to understand the actual customer, the person who brought you documents, or the person who you went to see, whether it's loan signing or general notary work. The only thing you need to concern yourself with is if you can communicate with the person whose signatures you are notarizing. If this person speaking in a different language does not know the language that you speak, you cannot communicate with them. Now, if you speak bilingual, then kudos to you. If you know several different languages, use them. Do what you do, boo. But I'm telling you, if you do not understand them and you cannot communicate with them, then they need to go to another notary. They can't bring somebody with them. You know, I had one try that. Some dude brought son. So him and son had to get on up in that car. Because I don't care what the son's saying. You said at the end of the day, I ain't hear you say it because I don't understand you. Let's move on. The notary public should be able to identify the type of document for entry in the notary public's journal. If unable to identify the type of document, the notary public must make an entry to that effect in the journal. So that means that you need to be able to identify the document. But if you don't understand it, because it's in a different language, what are you going to say? What does it say on the screen that you write in there? To that effect, in the journal, a document in a foreign language. Documents in a foreign language. Put it in your journal and keep it what? Pushing. Collect your fee and keep it pushing. That's what you do. As in all cases, the notary public should determine if the document is complete and must not notarize the signature if the document appears to be incomplete. Once again, that's the only thing you can concern yourself with is blank spaces and lines. And that's it. That is it. A notarial certificate in a foreign language document or attached to a foreign language document, the acknowledgement, jurat, or proof of execution of a subscribing witness must be written in English. And I think we all know that, right? We all know that. We all took class. We know that. That in order for you to actually notarize someone's signature on a jurat, it needs to be in English. The jurat needs to be in English. All the rest of the papers can be in whatever language they want it to be in, but the jurat needs to be in English. The acknowledgement needs to be in English. That's why I told you guys, get your little cheat sheets and put them in a billfold or put them in but you know what to do, your pocketbook, your briefcase, and take your papers. So if you got to pull your own out and use it, if they don't want you to, and they say, no, can't use use mine, guess what you do? You send them on their way and let somebody else do the papers. Because that's the only thing you need to be concerned yourself with. Because the documents, there ain't none of our business. Okay, let's move on. So, if we do this, who actually gets in trouble? Who's going to get in trouble? This is a serious question that needs to be answered. Because I've had maybe 2 people say something pertaining to who's going to get in trouble, if we're going to get our commission expelled, suspended, they're going to take it, throw it in the trash. I don't know. I just know that if you can actually notarize documents that are in a different language, how you going to get in trouble about it? Let's find out. Let's find out. There are civil penalties, $1,500 penalties imposed at least by the California Secretary of State for notary publics. There's a list of them, but I'm looking down at the third one that says execution of any certificate as a notary public containing a statement known to the notary public to be false. Execution of any certificate, whether it's a jurat, an acknowledgement, all of those things that you know to be false. You know they're lying. You know it. You know they lying. You know they finna pull one on the government, and you go ahead and notarize it anyway. Now we're looking at penalties. But if you don't know these people, and them documents, once again, ain't none of your business, and the only thing you're concerned yourself with is what? Is the person and the signature. As long as you've made sure that that person has identification verifying who they are, and you can understand them, and your acknowledgement or your jurat or your subscribing witness or whatever forms you have, power of attorney, whatever, as long as they're in English, you're good to go. Long as you didn't know. So then who gets in trouble then? Well, of course you know it's the customer. Here we go. Bring the receipts. Improper notarial acts, solicitation, coercion, or influence of performance. Any person who solicits, coerces, or in any manner influences a notary public to perform an improper notarial act, knowing that act to be an improper notarial act, including any act relating to maintaining an official journal, shall be guilty of a misdemeanor. That means the customer. That means the client. That means that person who brought you the paperwork, or that person who you went to see to go notarize their signature. Not you, that person. As long as you don't know them and you have no idea that they are trying to pull one in on you, this is going to be their problem. This is not your problem. Violations of this section include, but are not limited to, coercing or influencing the notary public to complete a false certificate of acknowledgement or jurat, coercing or influencing a notary public to not enter required information in the official journal, coercing or influencing the notary public to enter false information in the official journal, or coercing or influencing the notary public to falsely modify the journal entry. So if they bring it to you and they know what they're saying is false, and they know the information in that paperwork is not true, whether it's a foreign language or whether it's in English and you can understand it perfectly. It's not your job to dig through those papers and try to read papers. What you gonna do? How you gonna know it's false? How you gonna know it's not true? You ain't no lawyer. We're not here to do that. We're here to notarize a signature. and not the papers. Why? Because like I said previously in the video before, it ain't none of our business. Y'all hear that? Class is dismissed.